Talk about China and what we've got. We had a host of things to watch around China, and then we had the market reaction. The market reaction seemed extremely muted until something turned around. Give us your take on the weekend and the trading day that was for China.
Yeah, good morning, Anna. I guess it feels like a muted reaction when you walk in Europe, but it felt pretty volatile in the Asia session. Originally, we were surprised by how positively stocks were trading. Then they suddenly turned very sharply negative right across the board. And then they traded better into the lunch break and have traded okay since then overall. I think the main takeaways today are, hey, we haven't got the big bang. We haven't got the kind of bazooka number everyone was hoping for. So it's definitely not exceeded expectations. But I think people are realizing that there's a lot of smart messaging here, particularly in the focus. Today, the press briefing was mainly about helping particularly the private tech companies and entrepreneurs. And that's a very important sector to support, to again encourage animal spirits and investment in the market out there. I think there is a growing belief that, hey, China is not going to enact the measures that sees another big bubble form and therefore sees stock gains at the pace that we've seen over the past month, but that overall they are going to increase on doing measures until the markets are sustainably rising, just maybe at a more gradual pace.
So what kind of time frame are we thinking about, Mark?
Look, I think stocks are much higher over the past month. I think stocks will be higher over the next month. I think stocks will be higher over the next 3 months. I think stocks will be higher over the next 6 months. There's a risk that they're in another boom and bust cycle in terms that they don't actually fix the deep underlying economic problems. But for now, all the senior kind of facets of the government in a state-directed economy have said, we are going to get the market higher. That is basically the message. So they're going to do enough measures over the coming months to ensure that they get that bit of confidence out there. Now, this does not mean that the market goes massively higher, but I just think that we're going to start correcting the deep discount, deep undervaluation that these stock markets have relative to many global peers in what has been a sustained bull market in the rest of the world.
Mark, talk to us a little bit about that ripple effect, if you can. Is the Chinese stimulus story still kind of restricted in terms of its kind of net effect to Asia, or is there something that we're expected to see show up in the States, in Europe, et cetera?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Critty, because I think that's what people are starting to realize. Hey, if they're not, doing such a big fiscal package that they're going to really suddenly boost the economy, they're not really changing the economic narrative massively. What they're doing is important structural tweaks at the margin to make the system work better. So the spillover effect is much less. Now, obviously, it'll be good if China gains even a little bit of confidence and Chinese markets do better. So there'll be some positive impact, but this is not like a narrative that we can trade into European markets, for example, that very much matter on the Chinese economy.